Good afternoon. I am so happy that you could make it today to meet with me for a little bit of coffee. I know that you have a lot going on today, lots of things to do, but you're doing great and you're looking amazing. Let me know what you're having to drink down in the comments. I am currently committing sacrilege because I mixed two different types of coffee grounds together because I just had like a teeny bit left at the bottom of one bag, so I just used that and then added a couple of tablespoons of a different kind of coffee into the pot. So I'm sure that that's not acceptable, but that little bit was just not enough to quell my caffeine rage. So here we are, and this is also my second cup. It's the afternoon, so I had my morning coffee, now I'm having my afternoon coffee, which I don't always do. But my sleep schedule's been a little weird, so coffee. I know, sacrilege. Sue me. Today, I've been kind of like dragging myself around trying to get into the daily grind. So I thought maybe we could sit down together and have a little chat about things that we can do to shake off our bad, negative, unhelpful habits. We've all got like these little things that just like stick in our routines, into our brains, that just like creep around, preventing us from doing the things that we'd rather be doing. They don't do anything good for us. They are just in the way of what we actually want to do. Silly little habits that we've developed over time for whatever reason. So let's have a little sit down and talk about things that we can do to change our old ways, shake off those silly little old negative detrimental habits, and start doing the things that we actually want to. I'm not a professional of any sort. I'm just a lady who's figuring things out, who likes to chat over coffee. I'm just going to be sharing my experiences as far as, the things that work for me when I want to break bad habits. But if you are dealing with something that is a little bit more serious, addictive habits, habits that are bad for your health, I would suggest seeking out help from a professional as far as breaking out of those cycles. If you'd like to hang out with me 3 to 5 times a week here on this channel, we can just chat over some coffee about nothing at all. We can talk about mindfulness, spirituality, just fun, positive things. You can subscribe and we can be friends and it'll be super great. So the first thing that I like to do when I have developed a little bit of a nasty habit that I would like to expel from my routine because it's not doing anything good for me, is I grab a piece of pen and paper and try and write down into words what exactly am I doing? What is this habit? We're gonna sit here and make a blueprint of what this habit is and what we're going to do about it. I will write down the habit that I am currently doing that I wish that I didn't do. This next step might be good to do with a therapist if you work with one. Now that you've identified the habit, whether it's, leaving your clothes on the floor instead of putting them away, procrastinating, leaving dishes in the sink, staying up later than you intend to stay up, whatever that little habit is, let's think about why it is that you do that. So my example for today, the habit that I am currently working towards expelling from my existence, I have a horrible tendency to, when I wake up, the very first thing that I do when I open my eyes in the morning is pick up my phone and stare at it. So in this step, I will think about why it is that I do this habit. Why did this habit develop? Why do I do it? So I think that I do this habit because I am using my phone as a crutch to wake myself up. So rather than rolling over and falling asleep, I will make the conscious decision to pick up my phone and try and throw things at my brain to engage myself so that I don't fall back asleep, so that I can eventually get up. Yes, I've mentioned this on my channel before. This is something that I'm still working on. Remember to just have patience and compassion with yourself when it comes to breaking out of habits that you don't want to have in your life, because it is a bit of a process. Once you've developed this habitual behavior, it's familiar, it's comforting, it can be a process to get out of it. So I've written down my habit, checking my phone the second I wake up. I've written down why I do it. It's to force myself to wake up. Now let's write down, what are the consequences of this habit? Why is it bad? Why do I not want to do it? This habit makes me usually end up staying in bed for another 30 minutes just staring at my phone. It takes me out of the present, distracts me from myself and what I'm supposed to be doing, rather than like engaging my brain to like get up and focus on what I have to do. I just like brain dump all of this random information into my head so that I just am distracted. Pouring social media into my brain first thing in the morning really kind of sets like a bad tone for the rest of the day as far as like focusing on me and being present in my reality. It demotivates me and it really slows down my process for the morning and the rest of the day. So I've identified the habit, I've written down why I think that I might be doing it and why I don't like it. Now I have like a physical representation of this is this habit and this is why it's bad for me. Now the thing that works the best for me as far as breaking out of a habit is not necessarily to like force myself to remember, hey, don't do this thing. I will instead replace this habit with a behavior that is actually good for me. So breaking out of a bad habit isn't necessarily about like, you know, destroying that habit out of my brain. It's me implementing something that actually addresses the cause of why I do this habit and takes it, and now I'm doing something healthier instead. So what is my goal? What do I want to be doing instead of this habit? Instead of using my phone as a crutch to wake myself up, I just want to be able to consciously come into my own body and wake up and be present for my morning. I want to just totally not even think about my phone until after I've made my bed, fed my cats, and fed myself. So that is my goal. I want to get up without using my phone and not check it until after I've already gotten myself up and going for the day. Next step in the written blueprint here, I will write down, okay, so now I know what the habit is. I know why I think I know why I'm doing it. Why I don't want to be doing it, what I'd rather be doing, and now we're gonna write down what am I gonna do to replace this habit? What am I gonna do instead of this habit that will get me to where I want to be? Eventually, implementing a better habit that will become a part of your routine will phase out the old one. At least that is how it goes for me typically when I'm going through this process. You may want to like shuffle through a few different ideas, just write down like a couple of things that you could be doing to help you do something different than the habit you're currently doing. So to develop my new habit, I am going to leave my phone either in the next room or across my bedroom where I can't get it from my bed. I'm just going to completely let it be in a different location so it's impossible for me to roll over and pick up my phone. So I'm implementing a new habit of before I go to bed, I will leave my phone charging somewhere else. Now I typically like to like turn on a video and like I'm not watching it, I just like listen to the sounds of like somebody talking or something before I go to sleep because that helps me pass out for the night. So, but I can still do that if my phone is across the room. I just have to make the volume a little louder, so not an issue. I personally use my phone as my alarm clock. I have an iPhone, so I will set my alarm on my phone. This may or may not be an issue. I could see myself like getting out of bed to turn off my phone alarm and then picking up my phone and checking it and sitting back down in bed. I can totally picture myself doing that. So it might be in my best interest to invest in getting an actual alarm clock. I have my eye on a nice one on Mercari that's like $6 that's been used already. So we love a secondhand find. So I have all of my written down thought process and I have my game plan for what I'm gonna do to change this habit and implement something better. So I'm going to leave my phone somewhere where I can't get to it from my bed, and I'm going to possibly invest in an alarm clock to just keep myself away from my phone in the morning. I have no reason, no excuse to go touch it before I get up and going. This is my blueprint for like my process that works for me for shaking off a bad habit and implementing something that's better for me instead. Physically writing all of this down I know is so incredibly important for me, and like registering things in my mind, just because like having a physical representation of this is the thing and this is what I'm going to do makes it real for me. I identify what the habit is. I think about why I do the habit, what causes it. I write down what this habit is actually doing, what are the consequences of this habit, to encourage myself to like, really lay out for myself why it is that I don't want to be doing this. Think about that cause that you just wrote down a second ago and determine a goal for why it is that I want to implement a better habit, what it is that I'm trying to get. Pick your new habit to implement. You're going to replace that old one and phase it out by giving yourself something healthier that addresses the goal that you're wanting to achieve. Now that it's all written, that's when I start implementing the new habit and seeing where I go from there. Don't get frustrated with yourself during this process. Be super kind and compassionate to yourself as you are attempting to phase out this old thing that you've been doing and implement something new. It is a familiar habitual behavior that you have gotten into a rhythm of doing that you don't need anymore. So it is going to pop up, it is going to come back. That's to be expected. If it doesn't, I mean, amazing. But if it does, that's totally normal. Don't get frustrated with yourself. Instead of focusing on how do I stop doing the bad thing, focus on how do I start doing this good thing, so that eventually the bad thing will just out the door. There's like crashing noises outside. I apologize. I don't know how long it's been going on for, but maybe I'll put like background music on this video to eliminate that. If it's more helpful for you to like, instead of writing down your new habit and your blueprint in a journal, put it on a whiteboard on your fridge, put it on a bulletin board in your room, put it somewhere where you can see it so you're physically reminded of it on a daily basis. If you want to get witchy with it, write it down on write your bad habit, your old habit that you don't want anymore, on a piece of paper and go burn it, say goodbye as it's singeing away. If you've got a manifestation journal, take your manifestation journal and manifest the new habit that you are trying to implement instead. Manifestation really helps me because like, I guess just the act of having that physical, putting it out into the world, that physical representation of me physically taking a pen and writing it down, and like reading it as reality, it really solidifies things for me in my brain so that I actually start doing them. But for the zillionth time, just have patience with yourself. It takes time. If you find that the habit that you're trying to replace the old habit with just isn't sticking with you, then try again. Pick something else that you think would be a better fit for you to do instead. All right, this is good. Let's do this together. I am going to put my phone somewhere else and out of my sight, out of mind in the morning. I think I should invest in an alarm clock because I don't think that I am going to just very easily not check my phone if I'm using it as an alarm clock. So those are my new steps. Let me know down in the comments, what positive habits are you going to implement for yourself? Today is a super great day. It is beautiful outside. I am drinking some good coffee with some good company, and it's gonna be good. I've got an article to finish now, and is it dark in here? Did it just get dark, or is it just my phone? Oh, I don't know. It's just dark. So I'm gonna write, I'm gonna sing, and I'm gonna walk. It's gonna be a good day. Thank you for sitting down with me again. It is always, always so nice to catch up with you over coffee. Like this video if you want to be my friend. In my next video, I think I'm going to be trying drinking cacao, which I made a bit of a boo-boo. I was going to try that a couple of videos ago. I bought cacao nibs thinking that I could make a drink out of that. You can't really. I didn't realize that you couldn't like melt nibs. So that didn't turn out super well. Instead, I'm gonna get a powder and try it that way. My phone died in the middle of this. I guess that's my signal that I should stop talking now. Okay, I'll let you go. I'm sorry. I love you. Bye.